now when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair, they stole my comb, that's alright when I go home. Well, she's handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle, belle, fascinating. She is gone to the 1, 2, 3. Please don't tell me who is she. Mooney says he lost her, all the boys are waiting for her. They're knocking on the door when they're grinning on the bar, saying, oh, my true love, are you well? Out she comes, this way in snow, rings in the fingers and the bells and the toes. Sure nothing says she died, get the door with the rope and I. Tell me, ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pulled my hair, stole my comb, and that's alright when I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle, belle, fascinating. She is come to the 1, 2, 3, please don't tell me who she is. Whistle and bagpipes, give it up for Mr. Peter Perkins! Joining us on his 3rd gig ever, on the bass, John Marco, gig number 3. On vocals, harmonica, and spoons, Patrick Murphy! Fiddle, give it up for Miss Natalia Kay. On the guitar and the hits, Parker Hastings. And last but not least, on percussion, Ryan Lacey. Comes tumbling from the sky. Well, she's as nice as apple pie, and she'll get around and by and by. When she gets a loud roar, she won't tell a man when she comes home. The mall comes as they will, it's Albert Mooney, she loves girl. Tell me, ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair, stole my comb, that's alright when I go. Well, she's handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle, belle, fascinating. She's come to the 1, 2, 3, and please don't tell me who is she. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle, belle, fascinating. She's come to the 1, 2, 3, please don't tell me who is she.
Hello, hello. Clearly, our producer is pandering to our guests today. That was fun. So, my name is Louis Herms. That's right, that dude running for governor of California. We're getting a lot of traction. It's going to be exciting for people. I think when they see what's going on, just go to hermsforcali.com to learn about that. Of course, though, this is screwbiggov.com. Like, share, follow. You know, we have to bust those algorithms. Today is Q&A Wednesdays with this We the People Wednesday, and this is where I will answer questions. No matter how bad my answers are, I will do my best to do that. Hey, let me make a screen adjustment here real quick. Look at that. Fancy technology. All righty. So let's get right to the Q&A. My Q&A screen is not up here. Interesting. What is going on here? I apologize. Hold on just a second while I'm looking for this. There it is. Beautiful. Before I get to that, let's get to this.
There's no better time to get into precious metals than right now. Markets are unstable, systems are failing, and collapse isn't a theory, it's a countdown. That's why smart patriots are turning to tangible assets like gold and silver. Real value you can hold in your hands. Verity Metals is here to help you protect what matters most. Whether you're stacking for the first time or securing your long-term wealth, Matt Geiger will guide you every step of the way. Text Matt at 480-717-9081.
All righty then. Well, let's get to it. It's time for Q&As. Let's see what we got going on here. Do. There they are. All righty. Question from Sandra. When will the truth about Obama, Michelle, and their background, including the real parents of Malia and Sasha, finally be made public? They're 100% public right now. Get these questions I not quite understand. I think if I could read into your messaging, Gene, you're saying when does who? The mainstream media release it? That may be never. Mainstream media is part of the Operation Mockingbird. And the beautiful thing about that is right now, the Trump administration and Tulsi Gabbard are exposing what have we been saying? We've been calling the Operation Mockingbird forever. Now they are exposing that as fact. So are you maybe, do you mean the administration doing it? I don't know. When I get these questions, I'm always confused because it's been out there. And we have to remember, I'm going to give you guys an example. So CNN's maximum, I did this over a year ago, so it could have even changed, maybe worse. CNN's maximum highest hourly viewership is 460,000. You could take the top 3 podcasters when they do a podcast, and theirs is well over 460,000. And those are people that have disclosed the information that you're talking about. So let's stop relying on the mainstream media. The mainstream media is dead. They're feckless. They don't exist. Yes, I know some people still say, especially the elderly, well, I didn't see it on Fox News or CNN, so it must not be true. That's all right. They will be coming around. Trust me. So I believe the disclosures are completely out there. Don't know when people say finally made public. I'm not quite sure what that means. Do you mean the administration making it public? President Trump's been hinting at this stuff for a long, long time. So we will see when it gets to that point. I don't do predictions, so I wish I could help more on that, but I really can't. Question from Lori. Is the surge in prepping, homesteading, and traditional wife content organic? Wait, what the hell? Hold on a second. I apologize. I'm saying it says, oh, traditional wife content should be probably a comma there. Organic or part of a psyop like Operation Be Prepared in case the White Hats don't win. I don't think it has anything to do with this. I think there's legitimate, wonderful patriots out there that believe we should be completely prepared for whatever is coming up. And remember, there's different sections of patriots. You have patriots that are election awake. You have patriots that are awake to a globalist mechanism. And then you have some patriots that are adrenochrome awake. And those are really 3 different sections. So definitely wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've been saying, regardless, we should always be prepared. Uh, Even if the Trump administration has things under control, things can go south. You don't know that. Plus, there may be a downturn, which I really believe there will. There will be some anarchy and things like this before it gets better. So, yeah, for me, I believe in if you can afford it, get a generator, put at least a 50-gallon barrel of water at your house. Canned and dehydrated foods. There's of course lead is a really good thing to have. I would definitely have silver or gold if you can have some of that somewhere hiding. There's a lot that can be done, for sure. And I mean, some people want to go as far as having a bug out bag in another location. That's up to you. I don't think it's a bad thing to be prepping. I don't believe it's a psyop. I do think it's very smart to be prepared always, and it has zero to do with who's winning and who's not. All right. Question from I'm a Seeker. Are you in contact with Candace Owens or Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot? Has either offered intel or support for your run? Thanks for stepping up. Yes, I'm not in contact with Candace Owens, Carrie Cassidy. I know very well. We've texted often. Haven't texted really in the last month, but I'm sure if I needed Carrie, she would be there for me. She believes in what we were doing for sure. So I believe so. I haven't even reached out to Candace Owens. Um, I know Candace gets a lot of heat. Some people say she's a controlled opposition. I I think we have to, and I'm not saying she is or she's not, but I do think we have to be very careful when we throw out the controlled opposition tag. And if anybody has followed me for the last 5 or 6 years, they know that I've deeply studied I controlled opposition, and I'm actually the one that created the term controlled collaboration. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, assuming anybody that you're dealing with is controlled opposition, it's still okay. And here's why: because 85% of what they say is true. So the key is using your discernment, and you can use CO to your advantage. You can actually take their information, use it to your advantage. So I'm not worried by controlled opposition at all, unless they infiltrate my personal networks. So if they infiltrate my tours or my campaign or screw big gov, that's when it becomes a concern, and I weed them out. Let's just say that. And when they leave, it's not a fun experience for them. But when it comes to influencers and so like that, I don't have any problem with them hanging around. The key is we need to develop our discernment at a high enough rate that when they say something that doesn't resonate with us, you just throw it away, right? So then they actually become a useful tool for you, and when they give you the bad information, they're a useless idiot. So don't run from controlled opposition. And I'm not saying Candace Owens is. I'm just saying that there's a huge push out there right now trying to say she is. And it's interesting. I find anybody that anytime somebody disagrees with Trump, there's a whole MAGA confluence that certainly immediately starts screaming that they're controlled opposition. And that's scary. If you want to get to that point, guys, that's kind of scary. As people know, I'm a huge supporter of President Trump, but um, I believe that we should have our own voice. This is about we the people. This is not about Louis Herms. This is not about President Trump. It's not about MAGA. This is about we the people getting it done. And yes, we got to make America great again. But just because somebody may have a concern with something that President Trump's doing, like the Epstein files. I think it's brilliant what he did because it was art of war, right? Right there. That's what I think. Some people don't see it as art of war. They see it as he's covering up something for himself or his own administration or maybe some people in Congress. Um, I think he brought more attention to it on purpose, and now everybody's talking about it. I thought it was a brilliant move. That's my opinion, right? So, but if somebody, I know many people that are even friends of mine that completely disagree with him and they're very upset with him because of that. That doesn't make them controlled opposition all of a sudden. So we have to be careful with these type of terms. What did DJT, that would be our president, Donald J. Trump, mean when he says it's time to federalize Washington, D.C.? I believe, and this is me, and I have no problem with people having a different opinion on this and coming at me. I just believe I think it's in more of less of federalizing it. I think that's a term. I think it's more of removing them from their autonomous corporate structure that they have right now. Where, in essence, I believe the way that things were manipulated over the last 150 years put us in a position where DC, well, actually the three city state, DC, the Vatican, and the City of London were running the world. So what happens is when he gets rid of the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and what they say federalizes Washington D.C. and removes it from being autonomous, it's just rolled in. It's just another city with inside our complete uh, infrastructure. So I think these are just terms to draw attention to it. I think it's very, very important that we cut the knees off of all these. I call them corporate controllers. Other people have different names for it, but the reality, it's the old guard that we're going against. So I think it's probably going to be a positive move. Question from APW01. Do you think housing prices will drop? And what's your take on corporations buying up homes and forcing families into lifelong renting? Well, I don't think it's the corporations that are forcing them into lifelong renting. I think it's the government apparatus that enables the corporations to do so. Um, in regards to housing prices dropping, I can take you to California directly because I've done a lot of studying on this because it's part of my platform. So the challenge is we are so overregulated in California, right, that it's next to impossible to build a home. And if you build a home, you have to spend a lot more money just because of the fact of not just the prices of the labor here, which is overpriced in California, not due to the price of materials, which are overpriced in California, but due to all the environmental and other regulations that are posed upon you. There's many instances where a company's trying to build houses, affordable houses for people, and what happens is they are delayed up to 2 years and literally just drop the project. It saves them more money to cut bait on the money they lost than move forward, and it's disgusting. So fixing the regulations alone, right, will absolutely help, and then it'll create more. The more residences that you can create, in fact, I think we're behind by 3 million, just so you know, in California. The more residences or real homes that you can build, the lower the prices are going to. It's just a supply and demand thing. So the prices of the homes are manipulated also because the overregulation doesn't allow competition, because when you build, you have competition. So I do believe that when regulation is, el- uh, let's say nonsensical regulations are eliminated, housing prices will drop because the building, I think the housing will go through a construction boom, is what will happen when you do that. Um, in regards to corporations buying up homes, I would never say that they're forcing families to do lifelong renting, because it's the system that is putting them into those situations, and it's almost impossible to rent now without sharing. I can tell you, I was just studying this morning. It's funny to say that rental costs in our area in the last 8 years have increased by almost 65%. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine something that would have been what, $3,000 8 years ago is now $5,000 to rent today? It's ludicrous. It's just disgusting. Um, that has to do with the lack of building, of course, because the lack of inventory, you can charge a lot more for it. And this is another why people are running from California. It's gross. It's starting to happen in Florida, by the way. And but the Florida, what's happening also is people are getting upset. And Florida housing is dropping to the bottom real quick. So that's going to be interesting to watch. So we have to pay attention to this stuff. Great question. Question from Leslie. We've been hearing Israel will be last for years now. When will we actually see something happen? Well, again, what do we see are we get when you say something happened, I'm sure you're talking about public disclosures of something happening. Well, I believe there's already stuff happening in regards to Israel. Let's just take a couple things right there. Trump said he wants to make Gaza great again and put America in control of Gaza. That was a huge slap in the face to Netanyahu, right? And he said that while Netanyahu was standing right next to him, right next to him. If I believe that President Trump cut Netanyahu, Israel's knees off by going in and strategically bombing nuclear sites in Iran, because then that prevented Israel from going to war with Iran. I thought that was genius. This is the art of war, guys. We have to look, there it is, the art of war. We have to talk about this. That's clinical art of war. So I believe that Netanyahu and the deep state part of Israel wanted to go in and they wanted to go to war with Israel. I believe that they wanted that. And their excuse was what? The nuclear weapons. Well, President Trump's like, okay, let me take those out. What now, Netanyahu? You've got 48 hours to get out. I thought that was brilliant, right? So I think Israel's already been handled. And there was a huge clue. When the tariffs came out, remember, President Trump gave many countries throughout the Middle East and other places a 10% tariff, but he levied a 17% tariff on Israel. If y'all aren't seeing the clues, I don't know what to do, but I believe that Israel's being handled. I'm going to mention something else, and I've been saying this forever. And I created this theory called the Trump Trojan horse in regards to Israel. So what happens is Trump has put what appears to be a bunch of Zionist-loving people within inside of his cabinet. I say appears to be, okay? And he's really praised Israel at the highest level. All the while, he's been cutting off their infrastructure. Financially, everything that they're connected to, he has been going after, right? And he's not going after the Jewish people. And the reason why, of course, within 1 hour, I was called an anti-Semite and a Jew lover at the same time, which is hilarious, means maybe I got it right. Maybe it's because I'm discussing just raw truths. And the raw truth is the government of Israel is a deep state apparatus. The people of Israel, many of them are very wonderful people. I know people get upset with me. How dare you? All Jews are bad. No, sorry. I disagree with that. But I also disagree with because you happen to not like something that the Israel government does, these mother effers go ahead and label you an anti-Semite. This is what my campaign is exactly about. It's just tell the truth. Just be honest. Just be authentic. And don't be intimidated by these labels. So I believe the bad Israel is being handled as we speak. And I think there's a lot of evidence of that. So there's very, very many clues, Leslie. So I wouldn't say that nothing's happening. I think there's a lot of clues. We just have to look for it. I think it's very, very positive the direction we're going in. All right. Great questions, by the way. This question's from Melissa. What are your thoughts on, is that 3L Atlas? Any concerns? Do you think it could be a spacecraft? I don't know. Here's what I do believe. Project Bluebeam is real, where the idea was to show us a fake alien invasion, because when we're in fear and we're panicking, the deep state controllers can go into action, right? Right now there's just got off the phone with somebody that was talking about something that's scheduled to hit the planet in a certain time, and that's going to be another panic move. And there's another one that they believe is coming, but it's fake. It's another panic move. So I don't get triggered by this stuff in the least bit. at all, and I definitely don't talk about it to get clicks, which I know many podcasters will jump on this stuff just to get the clicks. I don't have any concerns about this. Um, I I believe there's a lot of psyops in regards to this stuff. I really, really, really do, and most of it hasn't come to fruition. And if it does, what are you gonna do about it anyways, right? So I don't like worrying about something I have 0 control over whatsoever. I think it's actually really bad for your psyche. I like to keep my positive vibration way high. So, I'm not concerned about it at all. Let's see how things play out. It'd be very interesting, right? Maybe just maybe there's benevolent creatures out there that wanna help us also, which would be kinda cool. I hear my doggy barking in the backyard. I don't know if you could hear it. I do want to mention this. If you're not familiar with Serona, here, let me take this down here. If you're not familiar with Serona, I would get familiar with Serona. The results that we're seeing and the amount of people that are calling and texting and emailing and just praising this is incredible. So let me just give you an idea. So glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant on the planet. In fact, it's called the master antioxidant. It's the one antioxidant that your body actually produces. So it's also the most studied antioxidant and molecule on the planet. I think there's 170,000 official studies, medical studies. Why would they be studying this so much? They study it so much because it works. But the reality is, in my opinion, big pharma studies it so much because they want to figure out how they can reproduce it synthetically, and they've been unsuccessful at doing that. So what they have done is they've produced glutathione, and they have started to put it into IVs, and people have gotten some moderate success for taking the IVs, but they're spending 12 to $1,800 a month to do this. So Sorona has developed an amazing system of nanosizing this and putting it into an oil so it absorbs perfectly. Now it's not a nanobot, but it's nano size, which means the molecules are so small that when you just put it under your tongue and then have it in your mouth for a little bit, 30 to 60 seconds, your body absorbs it directly. And they're getting phenomenal results, and you barely have to spend anything for it, especially in comparison to what they're doing in the clinic. So phenomenal. And that's Elixir. And now they have come out with a endo, which is CBD oil nano size. And I can tell you personally, I've had trouble sleeping for the last 20 or 30 years, and this puts me to bed like a baby. And I hear a lot of people use it for pain, and a lot of women have been saying they have results. It's improving their libido. If you don't want your libido improved, don't get it. But it does do a great job on that from what I hear also. And now a brand new product came out. I thought it was on my desk. Yeah, it is. Here you go. I use this every day, and this is amazing. I need this for my governor run, that's for sure. And it's called Lucid. And Lucid, it is an incredible product, and I call it the brain product, right? And it's all about NAC and some other things. So I would look into getting this. Just go to Serona.org. I don't know if I have my link there or not. So if you can click on me, I appreciate it. If not, well, take care of yourself, and then the company will get the commissions. If you click on me, then I get a small portion of that. But regardless, I would try it out just for your health, because we do have a big patriot fight in front of us where we the people really have to act. And the reality is we have to be as healthy as we possibly can. In fact, that's something that my upcoming guest, Mark Atwood, should be here in a moment. We're going to actually talk about that. So this is fun stuff, and make sure that he's not sending me a message for a link or anything like that. Just a second here. Nope, should be good. Okay, cool. Let me say da da da. Perfect. All righty. So let's get you back to the questions. I believe there's might only be one left. Let me see here. Okay, this doesn't look like a question. It says prayer request from Hildy. Please keep Kevin Hoyt of Vermont and his daughter in your prayers. They've been missing for 4 days. Thank you for continuing to expose the evil. It must be stopped. Yeah, this is a concern. I've known Kevin for a few years. At first, to be honest, I wasn't very concerned about this because I know uh, Kevin has disappeared for a while based on some some concerns about law enforcement and where he's from in Vermont, so on and so forth. But the longer it goes on, it does become a concern. So absolutely, folks, let's give them some prayers really quick. Lord, please take care of Kevin and his daughter. I understand that Kevin's father just passed also, so this may be what's also going on here. But let's keep a lookout for him and give us some updates and make sure we bring them both home safely as a nice and great patriot that he is. Appreciate that, love, Lord. So be it. All righty. So let's see. Before our guest gets on, I want to tell you something that he's doing that is amazing. So I'm dealing a lot with the campaign Herms for Governor in regards to health. I mean, a lot, a lot. I've actually am establishing health advisors, people that will absolutely blow your mind, and I'm going to the ends of the earth literally. And we'll be in Ireland in September for a 5-day health retreat, and hopefully we can bring back mega knowledge that we can bring into California and the United States because they're doing some really, really special stuff there. This is a 5-day healing retreat. It's called a Live 5D Health or Live 5D Health, and it's absolutely incredible. I would go to the website, the link that's right below, and click on it to see it. And if you can join us, that would be amazing. We'll be there for 5 days. You'll be able to sit, hang out with us, get all the treatments that we're going to do. And I mean, they go from brown gas to hyperbaric chambers, uh, red light therapy, a certain way of eating, some amazing water that we're going to be drinking while there, and the list goes on and on and on. All the things that we get with this health retreat. So go to the link below, Live 5 Eat Health, and it's an extended link. Love for you to join us there. It's in the middle of September. Come over and see us in Ireland, and that's where I will be learning as much as I possibly can, and hopefully I can bring back some of these modalities to California for sure. Let me find us my screen share here real quick, folks. Give me a second while you're looking at that. There it is. Cool. Give me just a second. Apologize for being a little discombobulated today. Things aren't all lined up properly, but that's all right. We have to adapt and overcome, don't we? All right. Here we go. All right. Let me show you this while we were waiting for Mark. Oh, he just came in. He's here. All right. Let me find our double screen here. There he is. Mark is here. Mark Atwood, everybody.
Hello.
Huzzah! Huzzah! It's Mark Atwood. Huzzah!
Oh my God. Yeah, sorry, dude. I've just had to run around doing some shizzle, and then I got here, and here I am. And
Some shizzle.
yes,
So I was just talking about this wonderful event, and then I was gonna stall by going to my Herms for Cali website, but you came in just in time to save my ass. Um, so if you can, I just really gave him a copious thought. Tell him about this health retreat that I'm so excited. My wife and I are going to be at coming here shortly, about a month.
God, yeah. So time is galloping like a horse that's been cut off from its leash.
Better than galloping like a whore.
Well, I've never seen that, so I wouldn't know.
We know
I
you
have,
have.
I have seen a galloping horse, but Yeah, so Live 5D Health is the healing center that I set up with a guy called Gary Keeley in the west of Ireland 2 years ago. It has since massively developed, and it's possibly one of the best healing centers in the world in terms of all the different modalities that are in there. And all of that stuff that's in there is stuff that I've learned about, especially in the last 5 years, but over the last 20 years, really. And it was really a kind of a mission to build this place because I could see, I'll tell you what actually happened setting this place up is that myself and Gary had chatted about healing centers 4 or 5 years ago, just loosely in conversations. And through interviewing lots of people about things like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, red light therapy, the fact, learning about structured living water with salt, all this stuff and quantum healing and chi energy and, just the things that really should be available to everybody all the time to detoxify the cells, to energize the cells, to cleanse the cells, to nourish the cells, so that the body works properly and heals itself. And I mean, that's what we've tried to put under one roof. And what happened with me is that I was walking through the town that I live in one day, and one of my friends dropped dead, and he was under
Oh, wow.
he was under 40 and he dropped dead and he'd been jibby jabbed. And I told him, you need to do this, that, and the other. And he never did it. And, and he dropped, and I was like, "Do you know what?" I kept bumping into people who say, yeah, the med beds are coming next week. The med beds are coming. And I'd be like, well, they're not here now. It might be real. I'm sure that technology is real, but it's not here now. And then the other thing was people were saying, yeah, I'm going to open a healing center all over the world because that's what the world needs is healing. And I was like, well, of course it does, but how are you going to do it? Oh, the RV's happening next week, and we're gonna have billions and billions. And I'm like, what? And all I could see was people being, stagnating, waiting for somebody to come on a horse and save them. And I was like, and then a line from the Q drops popped into my head, which was, "You have more than you know." That line resonated with me a lot, and I was like, actually, yeah, we do. We've got pretty much everything that we need to help people today now. So we went and got a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And because I've got a background in internet marketing, I knew that I could see that the demand for hyperbaric oxygen in particular, which is something that's been talked about recently by RFK Jr., by Mel Gibson on the Joe Rogan show, this is a treatment, a therapy that has grown in terms of its internet search demand by about 30% a year in the last few years. And at the time in Ireland, there were only two places you could go. And what's interesting about hyperbaric oxygen is that it was invented 370 years ago. So it's by an English physicist, and called Henshaw. And what's interesting about that is that it was created hundreds of years before the Flexner report came out in 1912. And that was, people may or may not know, that was funded by the Rockefellers. And that became the foundation for the medicalized, petroleum-based, allopathic, death cult system that we've been in for the last century. So I think things that were around before kind of got sidelined. They couldn't get rid of them because they've been around for so long. So that got sidelined and was used mainly. Most people know hyperbaric oxygen as something that divers use to not get the bends when they come up from deep diving. So I think there were three places in Ireland at the time that had it. And I'd met this amazing woman who I drove a few hours to go and film her for my podcast because she had this incredible healing story with hyperbaric, and it was expensive. But she was lucky enough to own a business and could afford it. And she'd gone from being crippled to not being crippled, and just being completely sorted by using this treatment. And I thought the hyperbaric oxygen was the bridge, and I've been talking about being a bridge for the last 5 years on the podcast because that was what Dolores Cannon talked about when she talks about waves of souls coming in for this time. And if you're in your 50s at this time during this ascension or this awakening process, you are a bridge between a warrior and a healer. And this really resonated with me. And I was like, well, I'm definitely a warrior because I'm telling YouTube to fuck off, and I'm calling everybody a CUNT, and I'm doing my best with what I've got, but I want to heal everybody. So we did that. We started it, and now it's got a luxury spa in there, and it's got, it's just amazing. And we've got 800 people that want to copy it around the world, and it could be the bedrock of a new healthcare system, or at least we've tried to build a flagship that can show that this stuff does not need to be expensive. It doesn't. It should be available to everybody. And we've picked this town in the west of Ireland because we happen to live here, and I don't think that's by accident either, because both myself and Gary kind of serendipitously ended up in this town. It's not where we're from. And we built this place, and then retreats became obvious because a lot of the treatments are really beneficial if you do them on a daily basis for a period of time. So there is a cumulative effect to doing these things. And if you look at three of the main treatments, which is red light therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, those three things together cleanse the cells, activate the mitochondria, nourish the cells, and make the cells talk to each other better, which can have a profound effect on anybody, because the fundamental principle that the Flexner report got rid of is that people are not sick, they're toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why, actually, the last time you and me did a show, I put it up on my YouTube channel and it got taken down immediately because I don't even remember what we spoke about. But then I did another video the week later talking about something else, and I mentioned the turpentine protocol. Have you heard of that
Oh yeah,
protocol?
you used it.
Yeah, and Dr. Jennifer Daniels, an American doctor who got hounded out of America for discovering this by working with a woman who was in her 90s, I think, who told her about it. Everybody had turpentine and sugar cubes in their cupboard 100 years ago, and they do it once a year to get rid of parasites.
Yep.
And YouTube have blocked me from putting anything up for 2
Yeah.
months or something. And it's like, oh my God, what? I didn't even say what the turpentine protocol did. I just mentioned it, and then I appealed, and they're just still doing their medical misinformation
Oh
bullshit.
yeah. Let me tell you real quick what not to use turpentine for, because I'm an idiot.
Is a joke. I know there's a joke.
No, it's true. It's true.
Don't wash your knob in it. That's what you're going to say.
I had an ear infection and I decided to put it in my ear.
Oh no.
It was one of the most painful experiences that you could possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife couldn't even help me because the whole time she's like, "You're such an idiot. I can't believe you did that."
Well,
Because I always take it to the hardcore, right? And I'm like,
learning.
I'm just gonna burn this out. So guess what I did another time in my ear with an ear infection?
I don't want to know.
Oregano.
Oh no, you didn't. Not
I did. I
oregano.
did. And so I'm now a grown adult, and because that was just 2 years ago. So I'm now a grown adult and won't do that anymore. What I've learned, especially running for governor, is I need to find people a lot smarter than me in order for me to learn. So I'm officially asking you if you can be on my health advisory board. I have a health advisory board with some amazing people that I will be paying attention to in order to bring these modalities and protocols to California.
Well, that'd be amazing. I mean, I'm still learning as well. I mean, by the way, if you have an ear infection, hydrogen peroxide.
That's my number one. It's always worked. It was just out. It was
olive oil is also good, but
I haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah, I mean, these things are actually really. It's all common sense. The people are not sick; they're toxic, so we have to detoxify them. There's no such thing as disease; it's just dis-ease.
Mm-hmm.
And once you understand that everything from the shoes cutting you off from the earth, from the toxins in the paint, in the carpet, in the sofa, in the furniture, it's just endless. And all we have to do. I mean, I don't even think that any of these machines will be needed in the future because we are the med beds.
I agree. Yes.
But, at the moment, the machines are kind of like a placebo in and of themselves because people want the theater of coming in and having the time and space to spend. And these things do have an effect on people in a really, really positive way. And my hope is that people who come on the retreats from what I've seen so far, it kind of triggers a healing cascade in their own life.
Mm.
I mean, I sit and say to people, look, seriously, the best thing you can do, the very best thing you can do is become a carnivore. And then I get all the vegans throwing tomatoes at me and calling me names.
And you're not eating them when they throw them at you either.
No, I'm not. Of course not. I wouldn't go near a tomato anymore. But, the devil's food. But I've seen so many massive, incredibly positive healing journeys with the carnivore diet, because everything's poison. When I was touring America with you,
Oh,
when
wow.
you guys were getting pizza every night, I was like, oh my God, I can't eat this shit. All I could get was chicken wings, and it was like really difficult. And then in the hotels, you can't even get a proper sausage and egg in a hotel in America. It's fucking powdered egg and some shit. God knows what's in the sausages.
It's true. It's true.
I know we laughed about food a lot, but I mean, I've been on a healing journey, and I'm not here as a preacher about it either. I've been in intensive care. I've been nearly died twice myself. I've had years of alcohol, cigarettes, drug. I've done everything. I've not looked after myself at all. So I'm amazed that I'm still here. And for me, it's been like I'm the human experiment that kind of proves that you can actually recover your health and live an amazing life. And it's really about getting that frequency up to a point where the things that they're throwing at us can't affect us as much, because they've just managed to put that frequency so low that people just get ill at the drop of a hat, whereas none of that's necessary. Or that's why my day today has been running up to a farm, talking to a guy who's just got some bees. I know you've spoken to Brent about the 4 bees thing. I just coincidentally, I've just been speaking about this new load of bees that have come into Ireland, and I'm like, well, you've got to feed these properly. You've got to put this stuff in, and I'm getting involved with that. I'm getting my raw milk, and I'm making my carnivore ice cream. I've got people going, people coming to my house to use the water. I've got the best filtered water around here, and so have we got in the healing centre. And just seeing these little journeys happening with people, especially ones who've been vaxxed, because they're the ones who are starting to really go, hang on, I'm not well. Not only am I not well, they are. I'm not saying that as an people are watching this going, that's an intention, Mark. Don't do that. Okay, I'm very well, but people are saying to themselves, they're realizing that they're in deep shit. And I felt very strongly, divinely, that we needed to build something that gave them an alternative. And the funny thing is that it's a slow drip. People are like, because they don't understand any of it, and they're like, they just still want the pill. Even my own mother went back to the doctor recently, and this is a woman who's had me as her son
Yeah,
for
I know.
56 years, and for at least 20 years, been telling her, don't get vaccinated, don't go to the doctor. If you do, ring me first. And we've got her through so many things, but she went back, and they put her in hospital for 3 days because she had a blockage, but there was no blockage. It was just because she'd been on the carnivore diet, and you don't create any waste. So she thought she was constipated, and God knows what they did to her in the hospital. I haven't spoken to her yet, but it's a constant battle, and you can't heal everybody. But for anybody that wants to come and heal in the west of Ireland, even the walls of the centre emit chi energy. That we've taken this office building and we've created a space within it that overlooks a beautiful river and overlooks a bridge, which I thought was hilarious because somebody had to point out to me that we overlook a bridge, and it's on Bridge Street. And there's me talking about being a bridge all this time. So it's all very special, divine, beautiful, fun. And we set it up as a private members association. So if single mother comes to us with an autistic kid and they can't afford the treatments, it's free. That's part of the philosophy. We didn't set it up to make money, but I do understand, and I think this is very important for people watching. If you are trying to do something in the future that makes the world a better place, you've got to do it from the point of view and in the current financial system in a way that does make some money, so that you can pay people to be there, and you can invest in new stuff, and you can grow it. So it's been a hell of a journey that I would never have expected to say that I own a healing center 5 years ago, but I do. So it's going to be amazing to have you guys come over, and then when you're over, we're going to do a 1-day event. Rebels across the pond. We've got you and Janine, and we've got some great people from Ireland. We've got some great people from England. I've tried to create a mixture of people here. So it's like similar to your Truth Tour day. Get on stage, talk for 10, 15 minutes, and then mingle with everybody, and let's just have an amazing day, a celebration. And I've asked everybody that's speaking to talk about, not go on about how bad the government is, how bad the genocide is, but to talk about, right, what are we doing? How are we going forward? What are the solutions? That's why I'm looking forward to seeing you speak, because you've done so much We the People work in the last 5 years, and now you're standing for governor. How's that going? I haven't had time. I'm going to ask you about that in a
Oh,
minute.
amazing, amazing. Everything's falling into place. Talk about divine. I'm having a meeting right after this, and the people are just falling into place. I mean, highly, highly influential people are saying we're going to support you, and we're putting together strategies right now. Um, but as you know, I'm active, so my whole campaign we're going to be working on solutions. Just to give you an idea, in the Pacific Palisades where the fires were, the baddies are now stealing the properties. They've found a way to claim that they've abandoned the properties. As we said, okay, so we're going in there next Tuesday. We have a table set up. We're going to have a notary. We have affidavits that are claim of property. We're filling them out for people. We're going to type them out, print them right there, put them in an envelope for them, and then we're going to give them to the county, because you only need about one every 4 or 5 lots that completely prevents them from building, because they need the lots all in succession, right? So we've
Mm,
outthought them, and these claim of properties are real. Is that they can't? You said you cannot claim we're abandoned. We're claiming our property right now. This is due to the fire. Our address still exists. So they don't. The baddies are going to be pissed when they see this. But that's the type of things we're going to be doing. The whole campaign is we're working on solutions. We're trying to get a couple sponsors for some very important bills, one on health, one on child trafficking. So yeah, we're very excited about where it's going to go. And the next couple of weeks are going to be some announcements that I think are going to blow people away.
well, that sounds really exciting, and I love that. And everything should be about making everybody who's awake, if they can just contribute in any way, even in a small way, that's how we're doing this fight back. So that's beautiful to hear, and I'm sure the people that come to this event are going to love listening to you. And I thought it was just a great idea to have, because you've never been to Ireland, have you? So I thought, well, if you come in, I'm going to work you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm used to it. So, and I did the same to you. So I guess payback is
Oh no, no, hang on. No, this is a 1 day event, right? I'm not going to make you drive around Europe in 10 days and get under sleep deprivation, eating shit. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to look after you.
That's right. So, but we know I'll do more work in 1 day than you did in 30 anyway. So we're doing
Yeah. It took me 4 years to get over that trip. I actually miss America. I want to come back. I want to come and do a tour, poetry tour, sometime.
Why don't you just come do poetry when we're on tour for the campaign? We're going to have huge audiences
Yeah, that might be fun.
in
I mean,
California.
I never thought about that because I don't think I've ever been to a political rally ever in my life, or a campaign trail at all, and then it never crossed my mind that anybody would be on except the person who wants to get voted in. And then I've watched a few of Trump's rallies over the years, and I'm like, oh, hang on, he's got this guy on, this guy, Hulk Hogan's on. What's going on here? That wouldn't. I don't think that happens in the UK, but maybe it does. I don't know. I just never.
It's not normal. Trump's not normal. I'm not normal. We're shaking it up. That's why they've already dubbed me the anti-politician. I'll take it.
Have they? Who's called you that?
No, many people. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, cool, thank you.
Yeah,
That
that's
that
great.
works for
Is
me.
it bad guys? Are there still bad guys standing for office? I mean, what's going on
Oh
in
yeah,
California?
it's pretty sad. It's very, very messed up. I really believe we take back California, the rest of the world's gonna follow. It is the cream of the crop, the prize in the United States by far, and that's why it's so disgusting, because the deep state has owned this for a long, long time.
Well, I know, and it's got a bigger GDP than most countries in Europe, hasn't it? So,
It's the fourth largest in the world.
well, that's quite a big job, Lewis.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is cut our spending by about 80%. That's going to freak everybody out.
That's a very good idea.
Yep.
There's a really good. Have you ever read a book called Life After the State?
Nope.
Highly recommend it. Anybody watching, if you can get it, by a guy called Dominic Frisby. He was a stand-up comedian in the UK. He's done a lot of funny videos in the last 5 years. Elon Musk has retweeted him a few times. Anyway, I met him a few years back and thanked him for this book called Life After the State, which I think he wrote in 2010. And the first chapter of this book talks about Glasgow, hey, right, which is a Scottish town, if you didn't know. And Glasgow was in the doldrums for a century at least, absolutely in a terrible mess. Lot of poverty, not a great place to be. But in 1800, Glasgow was one of the richest cities on earth, and you can tell when you go there because you can see the architecture of some of the amazing buildings there. That may be Tartarian. If anybody's watching this and goes, "Yeah, it's Tartarian, Mark. Don't you know anything about history? Real history?" Well, maybe, but the point of the book, which I loved, is that Dominic used Glasgow as a kind of case study in a place that was doing really financially very well, and the businesses that were doing well, but were owned by entrepreneurs that had a social conscience and looked after people and built villages for people to live in and took care of people and everything else. And it was all going swimmingly well until the government came in and said, "We want some of that. We'll have some taxes, please."
Hmm.
And as soon as you introduce taxes, you destroy all free market stuff. And that book is a great book for understanding really how that works and how taxes are completely abhorrent. And all the people that complain about capitalism, there's never been capitalism because there's never been true free markets.
That's
But
right.
certainly not in the last couple of 100 years anywhere on the planet.
Well, how do you have free markets when you have taxation and subsidization? You
Exactly.
can't
You
you
screw it
can't
all up.
you can't subsidize a business and call anything free market because the market's not free and fair after that. And then you can't tax unevenly also and call it fair. You can't put regulation penalties on certain things and call it a fair and free. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then you give the large corporations the exemptions from all of this, so the little guy has no chance whatsoever.
And do you know what makes it sad? I was at a cafe the other day and I just overheard this woman talking to a guy, and I overheard her say something, and I really wanted to get up and go and shake her by the ears, but I didn't, obviously. But she said, "Oh, they got this great system in whichever country where the government owns all the property and they just give you a property and it's brilliant." And it's like, and I was like, "Oh my god, you know." We've got so far to go, and it's quite annoying that we've still got so far to go. But it is what it is, and we're doing it. And how are you coping with it all? Because energetically, we're about to hit Lion's Gate in 36 hours, and this is a crazy energetic time. How are you coping with all of that, Lewis?
Yeah, it's fascinating actually. I this is if we're going to do this right, and we are right, it is a phenomenal amount of work because I don't have my full team established yet. So you can imagine how much I'm shouldering, and I've decided, as you know me very well, I'm going to be my own campaign manager because I'm not really good at taking direction.
No, really.
And I'm certainly not going to say something because it's politically expeditious or because some fucking poll told me to say it a certain way, right? It's not
Well,
gonna.
if you started doing that, I'd probably slip my wrists.
Yeah, it'd be a shock, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What have they got on him?" They can't.
Right, right. So that it adds a workload, but the beauty about that is I'm learning so much as I'm going along because we're doing this, right? Um, and it's good. I'm flying all over the place. I'll be in Vegas this weekend, and then I'm going to other states, and obviously Ireland, and everything I can to do to learn. But the last 3 days, if I can be completely transparent, other than last night, I worked and got about an average of 2.5 hours sleep per day. And in the middle of the day, it hit me. I had a gap of a half hour between meetings, which was shocking, right? Yesterday. And I'm not a napper, and I said, "Let me just lay down." Right? And I told my wife, just in case, wake me up at 3:25. And I guess I fell asleep at 3:10, and at 3:25 she woke me up. So I actually took a nap, which
Oh
is
my God.
not like me, but that energy just, it just hit me. And I've been feeling something. So maybe you can explain to people and myself what Lionsgate is and how that would affect how it would affect what's going on right now.
Well, in a
Oh,
nutshell, it's
real quick though, this could add fuel to this real quick. Yesterday it was weird. Separately, two of my kids that live in the home and my wife all told me they took a nap yesterday, and they don't do that,
well,
which
there
is
you go.
crazy. And they told they're like, "Oh, you took a nap? I took a nap. I took a nap. Well, I took a nap." I'm like, "Wow, that was crazy."
Yeah. It's been. I mean, it hit me Saturday, for example. I was great, fine, couple of hours, and then suddenly I was done, and I couldn't. And I said to everybody, "Leave me alone. I've got a bit." And I never do that. I've always got energy to deal with whoever's around, but I was just. Yeah, it's I personally. Well, it's a portal. It's over a 2 week period. On the 8th of the 8th, 88. There's that number. It's a time of, I think, massive upgrades. I think this is the most powerful 8-8 for a decade at least, from people that know more than me. That's kind of the limit of my understanding. My true understanding of it is what I'm going through, like physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's a deep, deep cleanse, and that's what's been going, since we started, you know, COVID times. It's just layers and layers and layers of cleansing that are happening on multiple levels and multiple dimensions, and a lot of us are trying to get, you know I got told when I was suicidal about 8 years ago, so you got to let go of everything, Mark. And I thought I understood that concept on an intellectual basis years ago from Taoism and stuff like that, but I didn't truly understand how deep this has to go, because we've got to get rid of all of these ideas, and which is the great thing about COVID, of course, because we are far more knowledgeable now about true health and wealth, and all of this, stuff about the financial system people didn't know about, stuff about politicians people didn't know about, stuff about media. We know a lot more now, and that's the really positive thing, is that this road to sovereignty, which is really about you taking responsibility for yourself from every single aspect of your life: physical, emotional, intellectual, biological, everything. And so that's the amazing thing. And this is a really good time for manifesting and focusing on what you actually want the world to be. And we do have this power. I've been going on about it for years. We get attacked on the way, and you get distracted on the way by fourth dimensional entities that don't want you to become who you're supposed to be. Or the original blueprint of humanity is within us, because we're carrying those codes. So those codes are getting unlocked by this energy, and it's happening. I describe it in waves, and the 8-8 portal Lionsgate is kind of like one of the big waves that people might be finding hard to cope with. They might feel depressed, they might feel lonely, isolated. All of those are completely normal in this time, and it's all, I think, divinely designed for you to get that connection really strong, and understand that you might be carrying stuff that's from past lives, ancestors. It's nothing to do with you. That might be why these waves, and you've got to let those emotions come through and recognize them. And really, that kind of links in with the Hopi prophecy of the eagle and the condor, which is representing dark and light, kind of not merging necessarily, but the whole new cage movement, the new age movement, is all about love and light, but it doesn't face the dark. We've got to face the dark, and that's what this is all about. And it's beautiful and it's difficult, but you chose to be here. So what do you want me to say?
Yeah, yeah, right. Well, here, analyze this.
Analyze this.
Yes,
You want me to kiss that mouth? That's the mouth that kisses my mother, my children.
oh
Goodnight.
my God, you look like him too. That's the sad part.
What's
Exactly.
a mook?
What's up, Mook? So
I can't see it here. Yeah, go on.
my wife and I, we got married on 8/8/08,
Whoa.
which would make this Friday our 17th anniversary.
Whoa. Big numbers there. Huge numbers. Big
In-
numbers. Huge
Fascinating,
numbers. Huge numbers.
huge.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's
So
really brilliant.
So let's talk about your guests real quick at Rebels Across the Pond, and then
Okay.
there'll be a link below for people to get to join us because it's a limited size crowd on this one.
Yeah. I mean, we are. Yes, we've got. It's quite expensive to put this on because we're on. It's a secret location. I don't want to say anything about it, but it's costing money to make this possible because it's not a normal venue. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I'm gonna be on stage most of it. Janine's coming over from Canada, which is great. She had a great time in Ireland last time she was here, and she that's going to be great. You know, most people know about Janine. Louis Hermes, he's coming. I don't know what he's going to be doing. That guy next to Louis Hermes is Thomas Sheridan, who's a guy he actually lives not far from me. I've met him a couple of times, but I first came across Thomas is a philosopher. He's also an expert in ancient Irish history and magic and things like this. So he's like an occult expert, and he's a very interesting chap. And he has a podcast, but he's. I first saw him speak about 15 years ago at a truth event, way before truth events in England, and I've been a fan of it. I don't agree with everything. You know, we don't agree with everything, but he's a really intelligent and funny and great guy. There's Honey C. Golden there next to him. Most of you, I don't know. She's from. She's a friend. She's spiritual. She teaches people to connect with their higher selves, and she's got great insights. There's also Joe and Scott coming from Truth Stream, the podcast in the States, and Joe's going to play some of his music live, hopefully. There's Abby Wynn, who co-wrote the book Weapons of Mass Protection with me. We then went on to set up a truth-telling publishing company called 104publishing.com. She's a spiritual healer, a shaman. She's brilliant. That is Dr. Ian McDermott, who's a Harley Street knee surgeon that spoke out in the UK about the craziness of the medical system. That's Eddie Hobbs next to him, who's an Irish former TV presenter who was doing shows about Rip Off Island and stuff. He's always questioned. He comes from a financial perspective, and he's been gathering crowds of 600-700 people at hotels across Ireland, trying to educate people about the rise of totalitarianism in this country in particular. Next to him is Dr. David Cartland, a GP, a general practitioner, or in the States you'll call that an MD. He has been through hell in the last 3 years. He's been taken to court, sued. They've tried to destroy him and his family so badly. It's horrific what he's been through, and he's a really good friend, and he's one of the few GP. He actually got vaxxed twice before he woke up, and he's been speaking out against it. And you can find him on X. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. A great guy. And down the bottom left is Dr. Marcus de Bruin. He's like the Irish equivalent to David Cartland, though set not exactly the same because he resigned. He was very high level actually in the Irish medical system, and then he saw through. He had to resign from all the boards, and he's spoken out, and he's been amazing in Ireland. That's Tracy O'Mahony next to him. She is an Irish barrister who's been speaking out from a legal perspective on things in Ireland. That next one to her is Jana K. London, who's an American who moved to Ireland about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, had 2 children here, brought up a family here. She's been one of the most active protesters against sexualization of children and the LGBTQ agenda in the schools over here. The guy with the flag on the right there is Ferg Power, who's literally one of the best. He's been at almost every rally and protest against the government for the last 5 years. He's just indefatigable and an amazing Irishman with just a wonderful human being. But he's had a very different experience to a lot of other people here, and that's what I'm trying to do is create this mixture of spiritual, financial, political, medical, media, a real mix of people to give a kind of broad spectrum view of where we're at in all 4 countries. And I know it's not the whole world we're representing, but it's a really good mix. And there's Gary Keeley on the bottom right, who's my partner in Live 5D Health, who's been helping me teach my audience about crypto because he's a crypto expert, but he's also a health and fitness expert, and is my partner in the Healing Center. And that guy in the middle there is a doctor that I've not spoken to yet, and I can't remember his name. But Dr. Vincent Carroll, that's it. he's another amazing doctor from Ireland that's spoken out. And we've got a few other people. I've got Andrew Bridgen, the MP from the UK. He may well be coming down. There's a few other, but it's a one-day event. I don't want people to turn up and only have 5 minutes to speak, like on the Truth Tour.
I hate when that happens.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I want to make this an event where people can really enjoy it. It's going to be indoor, outdoor. We're going to have food. We're going to have music. It's just going to be a great event, historical day, and we're going to film it all. We're going to film all the speakers properly, but we're also going to make a film about the people that come, why we're here, what we're doing. I did a reading with one of my spiritual trusted inner team who channels the spirit that I trust and have done for decades through different means. And I was flip flopping about whether to do this event, because it does. Whenever I do an event, it takes me months to get over it, because it's such a big energy to do it, as you know, and I'm very sensitive, so I do, believe it or not, and I do. You do get infiltrated. You do get witches coming. You do get spells cast. It's energetically exhausting. It's not just getting on stage talking, it's the energy of the room and the people that come. But I got readings done on it, and I got told this is going to help shift the energy here where we are, and that has an effect. Everything's quantum, it has an effect everywhere. And I thought getting the 4 countries together would be and make it a very interesting day for people who wanted to come. So if you can come, do come. The tickets are not cheap, because the event is costing at least 20,000 to put on. So we have to pay for it. And, that's the reason for the tickets being like that. But really, it's about getting these people together who really want to come. And I know some people are flying from California to come. I don't mean you. I mean, other people have said that. So, it's going to bring an interesting group of, I think, spiritually awake and aware people that will have an effect. So it's the same as when I was on tour with you. It came to me that everybody in the room was a point of light, holding a grid of consciousness, and that's why I'm doing this event. There you go.
I disagree. I think you're very affordable on this event, considering who you have there and what you're doing. So, folks, just go down to the link below, and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun and great experience. I can't wait to see a lot of these speakers. I mean, even when we were talking previously, I brought up on my screen the book from Dominic Frisby, and Life After the State, and I'm like, why haven't I read that? And then I go, oh, I've read excerpts from it, so it's something I'm putting on my list immediately. So I can tell you, if Mark was part of the selection process, it is going to be an extraordinary event. So join us there. That's on Saturday, September 20th. You have links in below for Live 5D Health, and you have a link below for this event also.
Yeah, and I'd say, if you guys watching want to come to the retreat with Lewis, brilliant. But if you can't make those dates, you can come anytime, And
Right.
some people are just coming for 3 or 4 days because the cumulative treatments are really good, and they don't necessarily want to do a retreat, and they want to just come and use the center. And if you're thinking about opening a Live 5D Health, we do have 840 people that have said they want to. Now, out of that, a lot of those are dreamers and people that never run a business, don't have the resources. But there's a lot of benefits to be got from copying what we've done and being part of it, because we're trying to create a network of decentralized physical locations where people can heal and trade in the private. And this is also part of health sovereignty, but wealth sovereignty and everything else. And I am a former internet marketing, I still am an internet marketing expert. Happen to have this in front of me. This is the kind of thing I used to teach. So there's unbelievable benefits from being part of Live 5D in that respect, because basically you will be found online for all the things that you're offering, which means you've got a business made in the box. And most healing centers haven't got a clue how to do that.
Yeah, so true.
So there you go.
All right. Well, Mark, it's been awesome having you here. Any final words from you, my friend? And I'm looking really forward to seeing you and everybody there.
Don't eat yellow snow. That's all I can think of.
Oh, that's my favorite too. Just add a little sugar to it. Yeah, me and Christopher Key go out and eat yellow snow anytime we get a chance.
I bet you do.
Wow.
Great to see you, man. And
Yeah,
can't
you
wait to
too.
see you in person. Thanks for having me on. And I'm going to go and eat my carnival dinner.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody. Love you. God bless. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife.
I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt
I love this
land.
God bless the USA.
God bless the USA.
Am I the only one willing to bleed? Take a bullet for being free. Screaming what the hell at my TV for telling me, yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue. Burning on the ground, another statue coming down in a town near you. Watching the threads of old glory come undone. Am I the only one?
One day, one day, one day, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
'Cause there ain't no doubt